What's going on, guys? It's RJ the Fed. Got some stuff we gotta take care of in the background. Give me 1 second. Make sure that wasn't in the background. Sorry about that. We've got some samples. We're gonna be drinking some samples. Once again, not running StreamYard Pro or anything like that. So got the StreamYard copyright up. Hopefully microphone sounds good. Last second, last minute, last everything live. Definitely need to do more of these though. So here we are. Whenever chat pops up, we'll start talking to whoever pops in. I've got 4 samples from Mr. Michael Rodriguez that I would like to drink. I've got a Dave Vogelsang sample, and I got a few other samples too on the lineup that we need to get through. I've got a ton of samples, honestly, so we'll see if we can push through those. 2 of the ones that we got to talk about, we finished just the other day. These were from Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiast. We have a Savage and Cook single barrel and a Sagamore straight rye single barrel that were both pretty good, pretty solid. I wouldn't say they were perfect or excellent, but they were definitely better and above average. So very enjoyable. Currently drinking a don't let the bottle confuse you. This is a 2023 Bombergers with a 2023 Shanks. We actually did do a full blend of the Bomberger Shanks blend from 2023. That's what we currently have poured up in the rocks glass right now. We'll be switching to a Glencairn soon, though, for the samples. So, Mr. Thomas Anderson, from all the way from Michigan, in the house. What's going on, buddy? So we're gonna drink some whiskey. We're not gonna run too long. I do want to hang out with the wife. I do want to watch some TV/movies with her. Try to spend some time with her too as well. So that's on the agenda. But first thing, we've got 2 different samples from Mr. Michael Rodriguez that are from Texas that I am interested in trying. Some of the proofs are pretty up there, and we got some proofs that are pretty low. So I think we'll start with the low proof one that's not from Texas first, and then we'll move to the proofy ones because we're going to go straight from basically low proof to barrel proof. So, Lazy K Bar Bourbon 92 proof. If you guys have seen it, that's the bottle that has the it's like a leather top for the top third of the bottle with a like brass metal ball knob on top for the cork. That bottle is about $100, low proof, 92 proof. Kind of took the market by storm. Every store I saw had it. Is it worth $100? My buddy bought a bottle of it. I hadn't tried it yet, but got a sample from Mr. Michael Rodriguez, so we will be trying it. Jeff Castle, what's going on, brother? Counting down the days for Mr. Jeff Castle, or not Jeff Castle. I'm sorry, we got another Jeff that'll be joining us. Ooh, I've already been drinking today. It'll come to me eventually. Jeff Castle, what's going on, brother? JK. Jeff Castle, it's been a while, man. I don't know what I was thinking right there. I was getting ready to say something else, but you are not the same person I'm referring to. I am lost in thought. Lazy K Bar. That's what I was trying to focus on. And Brandon had a bottle of it. He tried it. He liked it. They killed the whole bottle. I didn't get to sample it. So here we are now, Lazy K Bar. Let's see if this is any good. Very sweet, very typical bourbon notes. A lot of corn on the nose. A lot of sugar, maple. Tastes youthful, a little funky, relatively sweet. Very, very different for 92 proof whiskey. Not the forte. It's not it. Not bad though. Not great. Think very low proof, sweet corn whiskey with a little bit of spice from the oak. That's the best way I can describe what I just tasted. We'll jump up in proof, and we will also try one of Mr. Dave Vogelsang samples. So I've got a ton of samples that have been sent to me. I want to do more reviews. I don't know. Do I do videos on these and do them in a video format, or do I do them live? That's the trick question. Isn't that the whiskey from the Yellowstone guy? I think the Lazy K bar might be actually just based off the branding on the way the packaging looks. So maybe. Um, do you guys like if I just drink samples and talk about them on live? Like it's harder for people who sent me something to be able to find what I was received and have tried on the lives. But for me, it's more fun to talk about and drink live and in action. Or is it better if I try to do a video with one or two sample bottles at a time? Used to do double bottle reviews. We could do double sample or triple sample reviews. I don't know. I haven't done videos in a while. Mainly just doing the live stream thing. I actually like the live stream better because I like to interact with chat. So the more people who interact in chat, I would love to respond to those guys before anyone else. But Yellowstone, I think that might be it, just based off the branding and the look. The leather on the top third of the bottle, the wavy glass, and the brass topper. Next sample jumping way up in proof. So we're going from 92 proof to 119.4. This is a 4-gate private select 7-year bourbon whiskey from B Liquors pick from Mr. Dave Vogelzang. There we go. Live chat. Cheers, gang, and RJ. Joe B is going to be joining us on the next endeavor along with Tammy for our next barrel pick. We got a barrel pick coming up in March, early March, looking at, what was it, March 12th, I believe is what we talked about. 12th or 13th. Don't quote me on that. Joe B and Tammy are going to be a part of that. There's one of my local game that's going to be a part of that. Super excited to have them there and to pick the best whiskey they possibly can. I was telling Joe B how I tried all the samples he sent me from the pre-Evernorth to the Evernorth stuff to the batch ones to the batch threes. Honestly, none of it was bad. Probably not a fan of the Arctic Spirit, which is one of their LEs. I think that one was a little spicy, a little youthful. The 12th, Joe B corrected me. It is on the 12th. So 12th at 11 a.m. at Evernorth. I've got the team going out there. They're going to be doing a pick. We'll talk more about the pick once we have bottles in hand and how that's going to happen. Discord will probably be primary and how we get those hand delivered to people. Discord will probably be in my server though, not just the Whacked Out Whiskey Club. I'll probably open up a new section of mine, and that'll be like a barrel picking thread. I want to do a barrel pick at least like once a year or once every other year. Nothing too crazy on my end. I want to do it in a way where we can make it happen, where it's a allocated or very sought after distillery or bottle for the pick that we put in the Discord. But other than that, pretty excited about that. But let's try this 4-gate from Mr. Dave Vogelsang. We are drinking out of the RJ Glen. We do have RJ Glens and Whacked Out Whiskey Club Glens up and available for sale. Best way is just to reach out to me. We have them for $12.50 per glass. We are not charging shipping on that price. I'm trying to do that in a way where if we have a deal worked out or you have something that's going to be hand delivered from me, then we can add a Glen for that additional cost. That way we're not just sitting glass on its own, because that's already like a kind of a tough package to find the right size box for, to be honest. I feel like Mr. Dave Vogelsang is pretty good at picking some of these bottles that he sends samples of. He's definitely good to make sure he never sends you a duplicate, which is crazy to me. I've had this one sitting on the table for a little bit. I think this was actually from the last pick and not this last section of samples that he sent me. It was the time before. But 4-gate just hasn't done it for me. 4-gate's well known for like their collaborations. And with this one being a private select cask and with the B's liquor store pick, probably not a collaborative bottle, but one of those things where it's like 4-gate on its own. Like, what are we talking? $150, $200 bottles? Some of the collaborations drive the price up even more. Or are they worth 200 plus? Like, hopefully Dave Vogelsang will tune in and he can tell me what the cost of this bottle even is, because it's good, but it's tough to say anything's good when you start factoring in pricing. Whiskey Punkard, what's up, buddy? Sure, Whiskey Punkard probably has a channel the way his little logo thing set up and with a name. This 4-gate's not bad, but I'm very hesitant to say a 4-gate is good just because I know that they have some pretty hefty price tags that follow behind them. We have 2 different Texas whiskey distilleries we're going to be trying after this, along with a Smoke Eye Hill barrel proof. TX Texas whiskey, barrel proof, 125.2 proof. Never been a fan of TX whiskey. I hear they color their stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the rumor on the street. It being barrel proof though intrigues me. And then unbent, that guy actually used to work for who I work for right now. He was a baggage officer that became a supervisor, had his own distillery, went from there to selling out of the distillery. I think he sold his stake with the distillery, not sure, but they're very local to us. So we like the unbent. I think that would be a very easy reach out and do a pick with them. Another Texas whiskey. It'll be an unbent wheat whiskey barrel proof at 130.18 proof, which is pretty cool. Jeff Castle said, I heard the Costco Grand Openings. It sounds as if they are a crazy amount of awesome bottles. Depends. Obviously, for Joe B's sake, I really hope so. The grand opening for Costco would be pretty cool. In Texas, they're legally not allowed to sell liquor in Costco. So they have what they call WB, which is a Western beverage. It is a liquor store that is associated but also not affiliated with Costco. They share the same building space, but they do actually have their separate door. That door is completely isolated from Costco itself. There's their own team and management that runs it, and it doesn't get the cool Costco deals. So if Joe's getting the Costco that you can go into the actual Costco to shop for the liquor, that could be a very big day and a very big score. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope for the best for him, obviously. 4Gate stuff is $200 plus, I believe. That's kind of where I was thinking too, honestly. I can only hope for you too, Joe. I want you to score. 4Gate is priced far outside its batting average. And that's kind of how I am about Garrison Brothers too, which is a Texas whiskey that's overpriced. I mean, their cheapest product is a 80 proof honey finished, and it's honey infused, not even finished, I should say, with staves, and it's like $70-$80. I mean, from there it only goes up. With their most expensive release being the Laguna Madre, which is $350 a bottle. It just doesn't match the price for what you're paying. You just don't get the value. Shadow, what's going on, buddy? This 4 gate though, private select, pretty solid, pretty good. I'm just hesitant because I have a feeling it's probably a $200 bottle. Same thing with reference to Costco. Yeah, a lot of them are like that. It's something to do with the like state laws. It's not necessarily Costco itself, so can't blame them for that. Steven Scone. Steven Scone just had a birthday the other day, so if you guys want to do a happy belated birthday, happy belated birthday to you, Mister Steven. That live stream went quite a long time. He went over 500 subs. That's a big accomplishment. When I was there, he was at like 515 towards the end. I want to say he ran well over 4 hours for that live stream. Pulled in a few subscribers for sure, and hopefully soon, with all his live streams he's been doing, he'll hit watch hours. He's probably missing some of those, and then he'll be able to do super chats. Gerson Bros, I've had some samples, but nothing made me want to own a bottle for the prices. Shadow, have some of those samples been for me? Because I've got the cowboy ones that I would love to send you. I actually have a cash strength. That's actually the that bottle right there that looks like a single barrel from Garrison Brothers. That's actually a cash strength honeydew. So instead of 80 proof, it's like 129 or 131 proof. That one's done well and done right. Is it $200? Probably not, but it's at least a better expression of the honeydew where it feels a lot better. Cowboy bourbon's obviously kick ass in my opinion. 2024, which I have on the shelf above me, I think it's the best out of all the ones I've tried from 2020 up. It's at 500 and holding. Good to hear, Steven. Need like 800 watch hours. Here we go. America. I don't think I replied to your text. Oh my gosh, Jeff, I'm so sorry. Jeff replied back to one of my texts. He said, "Hey, brother, we are doing good, man. Just trying to keep it pushing. How are y'all doing? We are doing great. I have 2 kids now. I have Mr. Eli and William. My wife just had her doctor's appointment from her 6 weeks of giving birth. Everything's fine. She's well. She's good to go. Um, Eli's doing good. William still struggling with HR right now and getting him added onto insurance, but looks like paid parental leave is going to be set up and ready to go. I'm going to have Monday through Friday off starting, what is that, April 7th? April 7th is the first Monday. I'm going to be off Monday through Friday. I'll work Saturday and Sundays all the way through, all the way to like September 27th, which is a Sunday, which I'll return back to work as normal. So what a blessing to be able to get paid and not be at work and spend time with the kids and just be dad, be a parent, and not have to worry about the burden of corporate America and work. So pretty excited about that. Doing a 500 sub live tomorrow at 6 Central Standard Time. There you guys go. 500 sub live tomorrow to celebrate Steven Scone hitting 500 subs at 6 p.m. Central Time. Simples I had were Ladybird and it's supposed to be the Guadalupe, but the Guadalajara, Guadalupe. Guadalupe is a 107 proof, and then the Ladybird is 114 proof. The Ladybird is cognac finish. I can't remember the finish on the Guadalupe, but both those are pretty decent. Yeah, you're kind of a dick. Yeah, I didn't reply to his text. I feel so bad. I had to check on him, and then I didn't reply whenever he checked on me, so that's my fault. Gerson Brothers claimed the first bourbon outside of Kentucky, along with their crazy price tags. I leave that brand alone. I don't blame you. They're very overpriced. I love some of their products, but man, you're gonna pay out the ass for them. So, TX Barrel Proof Whiskey is our next sample. I'm not a fan of TX whiskey, so we'll see if this changes my mind at barrel proof because I hear that they color their stuff. That's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. Maybe Jeff can attest to that. Having babies for the win. Yeah, the wife wants 3 kids, so we still got one more planned in the near future. We'll probably wait another year as well. I think having that year spacing between, so we'll have one that's one will be 2, one will be 3, and just kind of rotating that way, or even doing 2 to 1 and then doing 4 to 1 to 2 or whatever. However we want to space that out for time. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Garrison Brothers stuff is getting to be quite available in Michigan lately. And that's good to hear, honestly. Like the distribution's better, especially if you can start finding some of the more harder to get ones. Now, that being said, Thomas, I have been talking to some of your other Michigan boys up there. Even though they're becoming quite available, the price is still higher than when I can get it here, which obviously I'm closer to the distillery than you guys are, but the prices are like $30, $40, $50 above what I would call MSRP. And we can get some stuff below MSRP, especially when it goes on sale here. So there's a good chance that I can get whatever bottle you're wanting to try or get for significantly cheaper than what it's available for you in Michigan for, and at least get you a sample, if not a whole bottle of it, for less, even after hand delivery fees. Glad you knew what I meant. Let's go. Into Windows. So the TX Barrel Proof, it's not terrible, but not a home run hitter. Got some Texas funk to it. Got a little bit of oakiness, a little bit of heat to it, a little bit of proof to it. It's 125.2 proof, so it's like that full proof range. Got some sweet like caramel taste to it. I'm not going to sit here and like bore you guys with all the bullshit like tasting notes that people say they taste. Getting down to the point, it feels very thin. It feels like it doesn't have a long lingering finish. It doesn't feel like it has those multitudes of flavors going on. I feel like it's like a one trick pony. TX whiskey at barrel proof though, 125.2 proof. Honestly, for Texas whiskey, TX as the brand, it's not terrible. I just don't know if I'd go out of my way to buy it. I have no idea what a bottle costs. Probably 50, $60, but there's definitely better stuff at that price range. I mean, buy you an Iron Harbinger for that price, honestly. We're not even going to finish this, Glenn. We're going to pour it into our rocks glass. Our rocks glass will be our dump glass from now on. Several liquor stores told me they are selling pretty good despite the high price. And they probably are just because of availability, right? Like they weren't available before, but they are now. Some of the more fancy releases like the Ladybird and the Guadalupe, the Cowboy bourbons, all those are going to drive some interest for sure. But are they worth the price? Regardless of what liquor stores are telling you, I can tell you right now, most of their stuff is not worth the price. Even the stuff that I know and love, like Cowboys are like $250 MSRP, and the Laguna is like $350 MSRP. Those are way out of most people's price range. Steven's trying some new Riff malted rye. Is that the 6-year red label? Is that the one you're talking about? Moving on to the next sample, we got an unbent wheat whiskey, barrel proof, 130.18 proof. They're out of, I want to say Louisville or Denton. I want to say Louisville, Texas. Like I said, one of the guys that used to be employed with my department, they now have their own distillery. I think they sold a portion of that though, and this is the whiskey from that baggage handler supervisor. 6 year red label. I hear that one's really good, Steven. So I would be, if you don't mind, do some little quick tasting notes and review on if you like it or you don't, you think the price is right or not, and if you have any tasting notes, put them in chat. That is one that I've been told is great. I have not purchased it or tried it, even though it is considered a shelfer. Whiskey Punkard said is delicious. This unbent, I don't know where they source from. I guess I should have started from that. Probably should have looked that one up too. Um, Honestly, don't know, but we'll see. Funky nose, but very sweet on the nose. It kind of reminds me of like the Balcones pot still. Like it's very very light, very corn forward, even though it says it's a wheat whiskey. Um it's very like deceitful, like the deceitful part of it. The nose is like sweet candy corn with like a little bit of the Texas funk, but it's just really weird on the tongue. Like it's very sweet, very corn forward. It's too funky for me. Like honestly, like it's not a yay or nay as far as like is it good or is it bad. Didn't think unbent source. I'm not sure if it's sourced or not. I'm just assuming. Figure they do smaller barrels, so they definitely have to do smaller barrels. I mean, they're a tiny distillery. That's funky though. Like that, it's very sweet. This is supposed to be their wheat whiskey at barrel proof at 130.18 proof. It drinks well below its proof. Like it's closer to 110 proof, but it's very thin. It's got a little bit of that like oak leather note that you get from the Texas funk, but for the most part, like it's just super light and super sweet. Like it reminds me of Balcones pot still, which is not necessarily not enjoyable. It's not what I'm looking for. It's not pleasant. It's not my tasting that I'm looking for. Here we go. Steven has his opinion now on that 6 year malted rye new riff. That's the red label 6 year. Cherry baking spice and a chocolate. Very easy drinker, bottle and bond, 100 proof. One of the best new riffs I've had. I believe that honestly. Like new riff has been rough. I've had some good releases, some bad releases. I have some guys that live very close to new riff actually, and I've talked about purchasing a like an LE bottle from the distillery itself through those guys because honestly, I haven't had anything from New Riff that like just blew my socks off. Like I haven't anything that was just like super exceptional or amazing. So here we go though. This is a sample that a lot of people talk about. Once again, this is from Michael Rodriguez. I have a Smoke Eye Hill barrel proof, 134.2 proof. What's up, Mr. Noah? Mr. Noah Moore, also known on Discord as Ganja. What's up, buddy? The Smoke Eye Hill barrel proof. I think people were talking about it at one point, and they called it. I don't know if that title is held up, but they held it as a GTS killer or at least a Stag killer. Can this stand up to Stag Junior? Can this stand up to George T. Stag? A Smoke Eye Hill barrel proof. We're about to find out, and as comparison, obviously, if we drink this and we like this, I do actually have a Stag store pick that is opened. That is a kick-ass pour. It's called Damn Good on the actual sticker. It says Damn Good. It's a barrel select of Stag, 133.0 proof. So we're talking 1.2 proofs lower than Smoke Eye Hill. So if the Smoke Eye Hill truly is like a GTS or Stag killer, which I'll be the judge of that. I mean, I love to hear people's thoughts, but I like to put their thoughts aside and do science and experimenting and tasting myself to see if that's actually true. So I'll be excited to see that. Mr. Ross Thunderclap says he likes the 8 year from New Riff. The Balcones Brimstone whiskey was actually pretty good too. I'm pretty sure the Brimstone is just a more oaky, woody tasting note more than anything else. Blue Corn Hype Train is still strong. Okay, Smoke Eye Hill's still putting it up there. Fred Mimic ranked it better than GTS. Well, Fred Mimic's an idiot. Let's start with that. I said it on live. You can tag me and put the timestamp. Fred Mimic's an idiot. You also put larceny barrel proofs a lot of different things. Steven said he didn't like the Smoke Eye Hill. He thought it had the finish is terrible. Smoke Eye is good, but no stag killer. Yeah, Josh, I can't see it being a stag killer either. Try them tonight. Yeah, Smoke Eye Hill right here, right now. And we got the Stag store pick that's already open right above us. We'll try if we have to. So initial impressions, the nose is stag like. The tasting note, front end palate, tip of the tongue, heavy oak presence. That's not something I typically get with stag. Costa G says, "Does open bourbon ever expire or go bad after a year's thoughts?" Yes, it can. Not always. It can. Thoughts behind that. Open bourbon. If it's bottled and sealed by a distillery, the way they do that, that bottle will be good indefinitely as long as that bottle is never opened and is stored in a cool, doesn't have to be cold, but cool, dark place. You don't want sunlight and you don't want heat to be exposed to it. Also, really don't want necessarily freezer level cold either. It'll last indefinitely. Your question is talking about open bourbon. Once you open that bourbon, depending on how much you have out of it. So here's a bottle that's like the bottom quarter or bottom fifth. It is a ticking time bomb, in my opinion, from that point. For them, about a year, about 2 years. If it's that low, if it's half a bottle or greater, you probably got about 2 years. If it's only like a third of the bottle that's missing, you got 2/3 of the bottle there. I think it'll last 4, 5, 6 years. It depends on one, how often you open it, how often you pour from it, air, and how long it sits. I will say though, if you do have a bottle that's this low and it's been sitting for a while, don't be afraid to push it upside down to where the liquid gets on the cork, and then let the cork get wet. You can even put the bottle on its side and roll it. You want to keep that cork moist because if it dries out too much, it can fracture and break and fall into the whiskey, and you'll get what you call cork rot. That'll definitely change the smell and the taste of your whiskey quite a bit. The more oxygen, though, like Shadow saying, the shorter the lifespan. So, like that's why I said I think a bottle like this, once you've opened it and you've drank this much of it, ticking time bomb. You got about a year. Um, I think some will definitely last longer. I think it also depends on the bottle. So, like I have some bottles that, like from Fresh Crack, do not taste good, and it's a brand new bottle. I think air and time does actually do it a favor. I've done this with two of my Garrison, actually three of my Garrison Brothers Cowboy bourbons. I took the cork off of one of them by accident and left it off overnight. So the bottle sat for at least 12 hours with no cork on it. Tried it the next day. All that air, all that exposure definitely changed it, definitely opened it up. It was like rapid aging because it wasn't sealed. I do believe that some whiskey that's not so good can and will get better with time and air. Air is the main thing, not age, but air, because once it's been out of the barrel, it's not aging anymore, but the air can definitely help. But it can also hurt. So if you have some bottles that are really, really good from Fresh Crack, initial pours, initial thoughts, you're like, damn, this is amazing. You try it a month later, it might not live up to its hype. So keep in mind, air is very important. There's different ways you can do that. You can, one, use sample bottles, bottle it up in a sample bottle, seal it up, try it later. Um, have smaller bottles than that, or bigger bottles than that. You can have like a little flask like this, little 375, or a little bit smaller than that. You can bottle something up like this and then retry it later. You can experiment with how much time and air you give something. But me personally, my impression, Costa G, if you're still here, is once it's been opened, even in a cool dark place, you get about a year on that bottle, 2 years if you're going to drink it a little bit heavier than most. So best way to do that is A, have friends to share with, or two, be able to sample it out to some people that haven't tried it in your area in hopes that they'll give you a sample swap so they can give you something else that you haven't tried to help you with that. So, and then Thomas Anderson's bewares of bars that have many bottles on the shelf. Some have been sitting half full for years. Um, let's go even one step further, Thomas Anderson. DFW Airport has two or three bars that I'm aware of where they have bottles that actually sit on a window seal that are getting access to direct sunlight and heat, which will absolutely destroy the whiskey in way less than half a year. So, not to mention having bottles that are sitting on the shelf for a long time. They have a lot of bottles, but also having the sun. So, hopefully that gave you some information, Casa G. Appreciate you tuning in. First time I've ever seen you. Love the questions. If you've got more, please ask them. I got nothing better to do than sit here and drink some whiskey and answer your questions. So, hopefully, you get another one for me. I know a guy that puts glass marbles in his open whiskey. LOL. I drink my bottles too. I mean, I went through 25, 30 bottles last month. Now, I'm not drinking 25, 30 full bottles, but like the bottles that I have that are getting low, I set them aside and I make a time and place for them where those are my priority bottles. If I want to pour just a drink to enjoy whiskey, that's what I drink to help and speed up that process, me killing that bottle. If people ask for samples, those are the bottles I typically pour from first, and I will kill first because I know that they have a shelf life, and I'm towards the back end of them. And that's true too. Shadow says Thomas has a good point. You want those unicorn pours, but might not be a good representation if you see that Pappy 15 that's been at that bar for 10 years and has been half full for that entire time. So glad you enjoyed the information, Casa. Like I said, ask as many questions as you want, man. You got more questions about anything, I'm an open book, and if I'm not, my chat definitely is. They have answers for you for sure. I have as about as much knowledge as you expect from someone who's been on YouTube for over a year, because I am very heavily invested in the community and I am very intrigued by all the sciences behind this. So I do try different whiskeys. I try them blended, I try them over ice, I try them neat. We try different methods. We talk about air, everything, like whatever it might change the flavor profile. I'm looking for the best tasting whiskey. I want to be able to get a buzz going. I don't want to get drunk anymore. I have a friends that get drunk and shit faced drunk like I used to. You can go buy a $20 bottle of vodka and get drunk off that. Like I drink for flavor and taste now, so my knowledge has definitely changed a lot more. Some I have saved, but I keep them out of light. Well, you should keep them out of light. Good info, RJ. Just want to add, drink them. If they get low, drink them. There's always more whiskey. And exactly. And that's a good point. I do drink them. You are whacked out, RJ. I am. Yeah, yeah. So talking about drinking them too, like we get a lot of whiskey. I have a lot, like more than humanly possible to drink in a lifetime, in my opinion. So it just makes it for fun. It's fun. If a bar has an almost empty bottle, they cannot charge you for the last pour. True or false? So they absolutely can, and they will charge you for that last pour. But I will say most states have some kind of alcohol control. We have what we call TABC. That's the Tobacco, Alcohol, and Bureau Control, or whatever they want to call it. You can't ask for that bottle after you drank it. So, example, Blanton's. I got one on. I don't want to have to stand up to grab it, but a Blanton's. If you're pouring the last pour from that Blanton's, they're probably going to still charge you for it. But you can ask for the empty bottle. They'll have to scratch the tax sticker off it. Might even offer you the topper if you just want the topper. Um, some fancy bottle if you finish it off or you're willing to pay for the remaining pours. Let's say there's 3 pours left. You buy the last 3. They'll probably offer you the bottle if you ask for it, and they'll just scratch the tax stamp off it because they have to actually damage the tax stamp showing that it's been paid for or whatever. You're gonna get charged. There's no way you're getting it for free, but you can at least take the bottle or as like a souvenir, or the topper as a souvenir. For most places, they won't have an issue with that. And a pour of Russell Single Rick House a few months back. The bottle was almost empty. It was straight up ass. I actually got a sample the other day. It was a Camp Nelson Single Rick House B. That was good. But it also wasn't an almost empty bottle that's probably been sitting there for a while. I got a Horsina Elmer T. Lee bottle. There you go. Yeah, when you talk about doing those last minute pours at a bar, they're going to charge you. It's not going to be free, even if they have less than the serving amount. They're going to charge you some amount. But you can take the souvenir. You can ask for the bottle for sure. Smoke Eye Hill. Honest opinion, honest review right now because we're not finishing this glass. Finish is terrible. Let me scroll back up. Someone said it. Who said it? Someone said the finish was terrible. Was it Steven? I think it was Steven. The finish is terrible. Yep, Steven said it. I agree with you, Steven. If we don't agree on anything, we definitely agree that Smoke Eye Hill, the barrel proof, the finish is terrible. I don't even have to try my Stag Junior or my GTS to tell you that is not. No, it's not a Stag killer. It's not a GTS killer by any means. The nose is pretty good. Front end palate pretty good, but the finish, that was not good. That was not good. That was rough. Whew. What do we have next? What do you guys want to see me drink next? I mean, I can go grab a Dave Vogelsang package, or I can grab some random samples out of the box, or a bottle off the shelf. I mean, what you guys name my next pour, or however you guys want me to do it. Do you want me to go grab a random sample? Do you want to grab a sample from a specific person? How do you guys want me to run that? Because we just had 4 different Michael Rodriguez samples and 1 Dave Vogelsang sample. And the Dave Vogelsang sample was great, although I think at $200, if I'm guessing the price of the bottle, that's rough. 2 of the Michael samples, one was Lazy K-Bar TX Barrel Proof, were actually solid. Unbent was a little bit rough, and the Smoke Eye Hill was rough. We do not have Malort, Josh. I don't know why you want to do that to me, but we love you too. It's just proof Fred is a paid shill to promote with. Honestly, Josh, I'm glad you bring that up. Maybe it is. JT Mellet cash strength. We've actually skipped on that bottle several times. So we don't have a bottle of JT Mellet cash strength that I'm aware of. Carl, what's going on, brother? Dave sent me an awesome box yesterday. You want to talk about awesome boxes that he sent? I got 2 more of the Goose Island Stout beers that are the proprietors. That's the blue and white boxes. I got another one that was, I think, like a 2020 release. So he sent us 3 beers along with 12 different samples. And we did try some of the samples. One of the samples was a Woodford double oaked. Pretty awesome pour. $200 bottle, though. On the fence about that, honestly. Like, that was a really good pour. He also sent me like a special short barrel bottle that was also super awesome. It was a short barrel double oaked burr rye from Drums and Dram, 116.2 proof. If I get that to focus, that was a stellar pour. I'm a huge short barrel fan, so. And then the little Woodford Reserve, if I get to the focus, the double oaked pour. It's like 90.4 proof. Come on, focus. There we go. 90.4 proof. This was an awesome sample as well. Haven't got him. I got the Woodford also. I would challenge you, Steven, to try that Woodford one. I think it's great. If you want to do content on it, that's definitely a pour that you should do some content on. I think I'm going to set these open samples off to the side, and I think what we're going to do is grab some more samples. I'm just going to grab a random grab bag that was sent to me from Dave Vogelsang, and that'll be our next pour. So give me 1 second to do that. Here we go. We've got 3 samples in this bag. These are part of the Dave Vogelsang package. I'm glad we grabbed this one too because I'm actually really excited to try one of these. We're going to be dropping in proof, and then we're going to go way back up in proof very quickly. So I'm kind of scared for my stomach. Let me talk you guys what we're about to do. And I'm very scared. And I know this isn't a typo, so hopefully you guys can hold my hand along the way through this one. I have 3 samples in front of me that we just pulled out from Mr. Dave Vogelsang. One of them is Old Forester 117 series, extra old 1910 bourbon whiskey. It's 93 proof. I don't think I'm going to have enough water for this, Joe. I'll explain to you why once I get through this lineup. So we got a 93 proof Old Forester 117. It's an extra old 1910. Very excited. Very happy to try that. Second pour, High Bank Distillery Co. Whiskey War Double Whiskey 113.5 proof. Pretty solid, right? I mean, it's a double whiskey, so we'll get some double barrel going on there. Should be a little bit oaky, but should be flavorful. 113.5 proof, solid. Here's where I'm afraid that it might hurt. Corbin Cash Bourbon Whiskey 8-year. Has anyone had Corbin Cash before? Because this is a 21090 pick, and it is labeled. If I get to the focus at 150 proof, 150. There's no way that's 105 proof. Like that's gotta be 150. Like there's no typo, right? Like that's gonna hurt. I might have got the same box, Steven. He does do pretty good. He actually keeps like an Excel spreadsheet, so we never send someone the same sample twice. Pretty excited though. Like Don Q. So here we go with the Old Forester. I'm probably going to finish on this 150 proof. I hope you guys know, like, I don't care how short or how long this live stream is. When you get up to 150 proof, my taste buds are going to be shot right after. I'm already coughing and choking right now just thinking about 150 proof whiskey. Huge Old Forester fan, by the way. We're going to get some more black labels. I did get 2 black label bottles from Mr. Tyler. We got both of the SLB picks of the Old Forester black label. Supposed to be having at least 1, maybe 2 more different black labels come in my possession in the next month or 2. So we'll see how that works out. But Old Forester black labels, the 100 proofers, are very delicious. But here's the Old Forester 117 series. These are typically done in 375s. Most of them are distillery release only. Some of them get distributed, but not everywhere. So very hard, basically impossible to find here. Here we go. We were just talking about Buffalo and Bourbon Enthusiast whenever we first hopped on, talking about the 2 samples that we actually killed with his logo right there. If you guys can match the Buffalo to his current logo, we did finish both of those 2-ounce samples off completely. Not supposed to drink at 150? I hope not, Steven, because otherwise we're not going to have anything else to drink afterwards. Wow. Old Forester 117. Extra old 1910 at 93 proof. Oh my goodness. Josh says chug it. I'm assuming he's talking about the 150 because we could definitely chug this Old Forester 117. This is great. I've got to save the rest of this bottle. I can't drink the rest of this. I got to give this to my buddy. He's a big Old Forester fan too. This is amazing. I need a bottle of this. Does anyone have access to this? I need a Old Forester 117 series extra old 1910 bourbon whiskey 93 proof because holy shit, that is a home run hitter for sure. We actually drank these beforehand, so you would have missed them even before the live stream. We drank these before the live stream. I thought they were both good. I thought they're both solid. I didn't think anything was exceptional about either one. I thought they were both pretty well balanced, pretty well refined, and I was pretty happy about both of them. I didn't really have anything negative to say about them. They just weren't something that stood out to me where it's like I had to have a bottle. It wasn't like a necessity. But man, honestly, both those picks were good. I know one of them you had more insight on than the other one as far as the actual pick process went. Those are good bottles, so really, really appreciate that. They were really good. I liked both of them. In the spirit of Dave V, put it on ice. I might. I just might. The Corbin and Cash scares me. Cheers, Casa G. Chucky Alarms. You need to get with me. We talked about doing samples and then something happened and I got busy and you weren't available. And then the other time I was free and you weren't. Sample package. Chucky Alarms. I owe you. You heard it live on YouTube. Let me get you squared away. We'll make it happen, I promise. Victor, the Whiskey Panda. Cheers, buddy. Wow. This Old Forster. This is crazy good. I've got 2 kids under 2. I get it, Chucky. We'll make something happen, man. I want you to be able to try some good whiskey. I'm going to make a promise that the rest of this bottle will not be consumed by me. Although I really enjoy it and need a bottle of it now. I'm going to set this aside. My buddy's closing on my house tomorrow. Good friend of mine, helped me out a lot. Local, Albert. Plan to give this to Albert. So let me grab my little glass marker so I can write Albert's name on the side so I don't forget. In the spirit of giving, Dave Vogelsang gave to me. I'm going to give and share to Mr. Albert as well. Can't be selfish, right? Can't be selfish. Give whiskey that's been given to me, right? It's just a hand given of a giving whiskey. But honestly, like, if I can find a bottle of that Old Forster 117 series, I would definitely buy that in a heartbeat, and I'd be selfish with that bottle. That's really good. Is Old Forster King Ranch a Texas only release? It is. It is. I just I'm in the process of hand delivering 3 of those right now to California. I purchased batch 1 and 2. I've opened batch 1 and 2. I killed 2 batch 2s and 3 batch 1s for a total of 5 bottles. Are they worth the $70 price tag? Yes. Are they worth the $100 price tag? Probably not. But distilleries are raising prices. Pretty good whiskey. Instead of doing like a charcoal filtering when they dump the barrel, they do a mesquite finish. Does add some flavor and characteristics to it that way. It's pretty good, pretty solid. Is it worth the price tag? Just like the 1924, I guess that's up to you, right? I mean, if you're willing to pay for it, anything's worth it, right? But if it's not, I mean, it's good. It's only 105 proof though for the King Ranch, and it's Texas exclusive if you like that. But other than that, like, there's not a whole lot going on for it. Like, I do enjoy it. I like it. I've killed several bottles of it. But at the price point, is there better whiskey out there? I think so. Victor's a Texas guy. He says he's not a fan of mesquite. I think it's pretty good. I like the mesquite finish. A lot of people smoke meats and use mesquite. But it's not for everybody, for sure. It's definitely not for everybody. So got that going for it. So this pour, High Bank, 113.5 proof. This is the Distillery Co. Whiskey Ward double whiskey. And then after that, we'll move to Corbin Cash, and I think we will step away to go grab an ice cube. I think the do it the Dave Vogelsang route with the ice cube is definitely going to be what we go for and do. I know people who smoke meat. I do too. The 1924 is very good. Victor does actually smoke meat as well, and most people don't use mesquite to smoke it, but I find the ones that do, it does add a different flavor profile to it that I actually enjoy. You didn't mind Long Branch. That is a hot take because I think there's better out there than Long Branch, but each their own. 113.5. This tastes well below that. Little funky though, a little oaky, if I had to say so. We're gonna go get. Well, let's try this neat first. The Corbin Cash. or try it neat at 150 proof. And then we're going to step away. We're going to go get one ice cube. And we're going to put it in the Glencairn with this pour and drink it the Dave Vogelsang way. And that's bourbon on the rocks. My friend bought over the new 1924. I bought out last year's. I like mine better, but don't think they're worth the money. I had this year's. I had a sample of it. I did like it. I thought it was great. We talked about Old Forester in the first place. If you add that bottle of Old Forester 1924 to a limited edition bottle, like a birthday bourbon bottle, and you kind of describe it as a limited edition pour or limited edition bottle, I think people would pay that price in a heartbeat and not even think twice about it. But the fact that like Old Forester, even the 117 series are in 375s, or the President's Choice is all in 750s, with the exception of birthday bourbon, they all use the exact same glass to pour the bottles, or the same glassware for the bottles. I think that hurts them. I think on a marketing perspective, if they did do it in a fancy bottle or packaging, they said 1924 is an LE, I think it would sell without even people considering the price point or even thinking about the price point. But because it has that Whiskey Row series on it, because it's in the same bottle as everything else, and because the price is almost double, I think that's what hurts it on a marketing perspective. The birthday bourbon should be underwhelming to you, to be honest. Whew. Corbin Cash Bourbon Whiskey at 150 proof. This is a 21090 pick 8-year. It has a cream cheese on the nose. Like maybe my nose is broken, but it smells like funky and musty. It's stinky, like stinky cheese, like a cheese wheel that's been aging, and they're telling you can open it up and cut a piece off, and you're like, how old is this cheese? And you're like, oh, it's been aging for 20 years. Like it has some sweet and subtle notes, but the musty, stinky nose is coming through. I'm scared. Please, someone help me. Oh, it tastes like it too. Okay, guys, we're gonna step away. I did get the 13th century from Dave. I'm gonna step away for real quick. I'm gonna go grab a piece of ice and see if it helps, because I get a musty, nasty cheese note to this. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go get a piece of ice. Ugh. All right, we're back. Ugh. We got an ice cube in here. We're trying to get the ice cube to swirl around and dilute that. I literally get a musty cheese note. I'm not too sure about this. Did you get a sample of this, Victor? Corbin Cash Bourbon Whiskey, aged 8-year, 21090 pick, 150 proof from Mr. Dave Vogelsang. It's still, I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna step away again. I'm so sorry, guys. I have to clean my palate, and I have to come back and drink something else other than that. I just can't do that. I'll be right back, guys. That was not good, dude. If you have Corbin and Cash, that's not a bash on the pick for these guys, but musty cheese was definitely a note that I did not like. I didn't get that one, but I have a hazmat cache and I really liked it. I'm glad you liked it because that is a punishment pour. I'll be right back. That was not good. I'm gonna go rinse both my glasses. That was rough. Nothing wrong with the pass. I did still try it even with the ice, but it still had that musty cheese note. Couldn't do it. Many people rave about Corbin Cash Rye, and maybe it's good, but maybe that pick or that pour, or that single barrel, maybe that was the neck pour. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say it's bad, but that was not my forte for sure. I gotta go get the 13th century to try. Oh, he wants to know what the punishment pour was. Well, I don't know if it's a punishment pour, but it felt like one. Corbin Cash bourbon whiskey, aged 8 year, 21090 pick, 150 proof. It's not because of the pick, and it's not because of the proof. It tasted like rotten slash musty cheese. So let me see if I can go find this 13th century pour real quick so we can have that because Victor thinks that's one that I need to try. All right, Vic, help me out, brother. 13th century American straight bourbon whiskey, barrel strength at 142.2 proof. Is this what you're talking about to try? We're to wait for Mr. Victor from the Whiskey Panda to respond that this 13th century American straight bourbon is the pour that he wants me to try at 142.2 proof from Mr. Dave Ogilsing. It shouldn't be hilarious, but that was not good. Like shit. I need to make a note on this bottle. I'm gonna write nasty cheese on the label. I just wrote nasty cheese and Sharpie on the label just because I'm like, I did not like that. Oh shit, that was rough. Okay. Victor said yes to this pour. Okay. So I'm sipping the Nulu maple finish. I do like Nulu. I actually have their toasted honey finish that I did actually like and enjoy. I think Tyler liked it too. Vanilla and caramel in the nose. Palate is fine, but very hot. I like the 30th century a lot more. Are we trying the same freaking Corbin Cash, Steven? Because if you tried the same and you didn't get a musty cheese note on it, like I'm not going to sit here and say my palate's broken, but one of our palate has to be broken because that was not good. That was awful. But here's the 13th century poured up. We just poured up about a quarter or a third of an ounce. I'm going to try that. There's the death note. Yes, same, bro. There ain't no way you didn't get no musty cheese note on that thing. Maybe mine was just a sour batch. I don't know, but 13th century. Hopefully, this is way better. It's still hazmat whiskey. It's 142.2 proof, but 150 proof Corbin Cash. That was not good. There ain't no way we tried the same thing. Oh, I just need to breathe for a second. Honestly, ain't no way in hell I'm adding that to any infinity bottle. All my infinity bottles have good outcomes. I'll let you try my infinity pours too as some of the samples I send you, Chucky. I think my infinity bottles will knock your socks off too. But damn, this is not that Corbin Cash was not good. 150 is nuts, but it's not even the proof. Like it drinks well below the proof. It's the smell. Yeah, we'll get you an RJ Glenn. You help me get the whiskey Panda Glenn. We'll get you RJ Glenn. When are you gonna be in town next time? That's a better question. Thomas Anderson likes Frey Ranch. Low proof. Pretty tasty. Glad you do, because every time me and Matt from Whiskey Wisdom try it, it's like herbal and grass. It's cold here. Can I keep my socks on? You can. You can. March, Fort Worth. Yeah, I can make that work for sure. Monday through Friday or weekends. You let me know what day works best for you. I'll make the effort if I have to meet up with you in the morning or in the evening. We'll make it happen. I'll hand deliver you Glenn and samples. Okay. So Steven Scone said, even though he said the Corbin cash wasn't good, I may do this suck short on it. I need that high proof as antifreeze down there. Honestly, with it being like, what was it, 17 degrees today? Like, we might need it for some antifreeze here too. Let's talk about one of my Infinity bottles for a second. I have a high end Buffalo Trace Infinity bottle. Weather full proof. Weller CYPP 107. Blanton's Gold. Blanton straight from the barrel. Stag. Batch 2. 5. 7. 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 22A, 22 Bravo, 23A, 23B, and 23 Charlie. E.H. Taylor barrel proof. E.H. Taylor single barrel. E.H. Taylor single barrel store pick. Barrel proof was batch 9, 10, and 11. Shit. I'm drawing blanks, but basically anything that you can think of that's a Buffalo Trace bottle that's allocated hard to get, it went into that Infinity bottle if I had it or had a sample of it. After trying a tiny bit of it, the rest of it went in this bottle. So majority of the bottle is Stag. Proof point based off of bottle and bonds and mix, probably sitting close to 110, 115 proof, but with a lot of that Stag profile. That's my high-end Infinity blend. So if you want to try that as an Infinity blend, most people don't ask for samples and ask for my Infinity blends, but I have several Infinity bottles actually with the mindset of making the best Infinity bottles possible. I know a lot of people do them as projects, and some of their Infinity bottles, they actually really suck or they don't taste right or taste good. I try to keep mash bill as number one in mind, and then two, flavor profile and proof in mind as well. I try to be pretty mindful about how I make it. Unfortunately, though, with the majority of them, I can't replicate them because I use too many bottles to blend it, with the exception of obviously like the Pappy. Poor Man's Pappy is a Weller 12, Weller 107 mix. That's pretty straightforward on what that's going to be like. But the others are pretty tough to replicate. I have a low end Buffalo Trace bottle that's actually pretty good. It has like every benchmark: Buffalo Trace, Weller Special Reserve, Eagle Rare, stuff like that. That's also actually a really solid bottle too. So Infinity bottles, Infinity blends. Yeah, there's some that are out there that are pretty darn good. I'll have drinking bottles. I sit in the lobby like I do and drink whiskey with the dads. I'll bring some good stuff if we can make an evening habit. Absolutely, Victor. I'll bring some crazy shit too. I'll save. Here's what I'll do. I'll bring bottles to share, and then I'll bring the aged in ore kit of the 4 samples for us to share, which will be the high end expensive stuff like Thomas H. Handy, stuff like that. So you can try the 2024 Thomas H. Handy along with some other nice pours like Maker's 10 barrel strength rye or something along those lines with me as well. You should be texting me this, but that's okay. Independent Joe and a partridge and a pear tree. The high end Buffalo Trace, it definitely felt like that for sure. Also, Independent Joe, liking the new profile picture, man. That's fucking awesome. Like, I love the red. It is impressive, and I have to thank some of my subscribers for sending me some of those samples because Stag Batch 2, who would send that to me? Let's start with Doc Martinez from Old Fashioned Ways Plus Plus. Like you get some of these pours that I use and try and drink, and I add to this blend, which they might castrate me for doing, but I try it. I like it. I enjoy it. If I don't pass it on, it goes into my fancy infinity bottles, and I make sure those infinity bottles stay relatively full so they don't age or rapidly deteriorate. And I try to make sure that they are with the best quality whiskey I can put in them as possible. I've made many infinity blends over the years, some bad, but most pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if you have the mindset of following mash bills, like it's tough to screw up an infinity bottle if you're following mash bills. If you're just putting random whiskeys in, bourbons, rye, anything in between, you're gonna have a rough time. But if you follow mash bills at the very least, even ignoring proof points, 90 proof to 140 proof, like you'll still have a good outcome. So maybe I'll do a Texas blend one of these days. We'll see, but it's fun. I will create a stag infinity bottle after our March stag tourney. You should. Several people have, and several people will. Stag is good. Batch one, not a big fan. 22B, also not a big fan, but a lot of the stag juniors, pretty good. Red Friday tomorrow. Remember, everyone deployed. Cheers. Cheers, Mr. Independent Joe. And thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for your service. I have a true infinity bottle. I add about 2 ounces of every known finished bottle I have. When it is full, I take a few pours, then back to adding. That's crazy. So, like, when you say you're adding 2 ounces of every pour from your bottles that you're almost gone, and then you continue to drink from it and then add more to it, are we talking about an infinity bottle that's a 750, or have you upgraded to a 1.75? Because at some point, I feel like I have too many whiskeys that I've finished, and that 750 is just not big enough. Like, I need a bigger bottle at that point. If you have a set recipe, that would be more of a personal blend, not infinity that never ends. That's true. I mean, set recipe, obviously, like Poor Man's Pappy, Weller 12, 60%, Weller 107, 40%. That's a pretty set recipe. That one doesn't have to ever, really end. But some of the other ones are like an ongoing infinity pour. Those can be difficult to replicate because you never know how much you actually drank out of them or shared or poured out of them. So that's true for sure. 22A is pretty damn good in my opinion. I agree. 22A of Stag Junior is, but 22B a lot heavier, a lot oakier, not so good in my opinion. I think 22A is more cherry forward, a lot more sweet. 22A is one of my absolute favorite Stag Junior pours of the recent years, along with Batch 18. 23C is also working its way up there, along with 24 Alpha. Some of those are pretty good pours too. Dime or dozen in between. Batch proof is obviously the way to go. Store picks can get a lot more consistency with a single barrel because you can get one single barrel that's just better than the rest. But as far as batch proof, 22A is a home run hitter by far. Everyone saying cheers to Mr. Independent Joe, and then Independent Joe saying cheers back to Mr. Anderson and Steven Scone. Joe, if you haven't already too, drop a happy belated birthday to Mr. Steven Scone. He just had his birthday the other day. He did go over 500 subs. Last time I checked, he was at 515. Not sure where he's holding that right now, but he had over 515 on that last live he did. Still needs watch hours, but he should be very close in retrospect to hitting that first milestone of monetization, which will be watch hours to hit super chats. So cheers, Mr. Steven Scone, and happy belated birthday, brother. How's the Gerson Brothers? We get their basic bottles, but it's expensive here. You're gonna get a sample pack from me, so I'll hook you up with the Honeydew at Cash Strength, which is one of the best pours you can possibly get, along with a Cowboy Bourbon, which is what I think is the most value to if you're gonna pay $250 for a bottle that it's worth. So we'll definitely hook you up. Focus on pouring that from it before killing another bottle. That's cool, Shadow, but how many bottles are in your collection? Because if you have bottles in my collection like I have, 750 ain't gonna cut it. Holding at 500. Good, Steven. Good. Is Doc having a 222 live? I mean, I would have to guess, right? I mean, like that's his date, his time, right? Check alarms with the little kissy emoji. Well, take care of you, man. Like I promise you, like I know we talked about it. I know I haven't followed through with it. I know we had went back and forth. I didn't respond the second time because you woke up later than I initially reached out. The only reason why I reached out early is because I was trying to have that package grouped up with another package I was already hand delivering to make sure yours was a part of that. Shit happens, but you're not forgotten. Chucky Alarms, you will get to try a lot of cool shit. I don't care about money. Um, Hand delivery fees at most. Speaking of deliveries and giveaways, we have 12 people watching right now. Who wants to see some free whiskey given away? If so, type yes in chat. I know someone wants to get some free whiskey. Yes in chat. Josh, I love you. We don't have the professional StreamYard anymore, so we're gonna Tyler type no. He didn't want free whiskey. He's got too many bottles. I already know he has too many bottles, so he's definitely right on. He does not need any more. Um, let's do a game where those who are in chat, because there's only 11 now watching, pick a number 1 through 10. The first person to guess the correct number from the 1 through 10 wins a sample pack. I've got the number 1 through 10. First one to guess it. Nope, not 3, not 7. 8, Joe B. Joe B got it. 6.5 was a good guess, Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiast, but Joe B beat you to it. Joe, I'll probably just work with you, man, and I'll just make sure that when Tyler drives up there for the Evernorth pick, he just hand delivers you something from me. But Joe, you won, so congratulations, buddy. Let me go ahead and make a note on my little winning score pad, wherever this is at. I got one somewhere around here. Notepad. Got to make a new one. Give away winners. Chucky Alarms, you're still on there because we got to get you a sample pack. And Mr. Joe B needs a sample pack as well. Let me go ahead and save this and let's see. Give away. The reason why I say this on my desktop as a notepad too, it helps me keep accountability and keep track of people that I owe something to. And that way when I pay out that winning, I can then erase your name from that list. So that guarantees that you're on the list and you're going to be getting the bottle. So or samples in this case. So hell yeah. Well, something in return. I don't expect anything in return, but really, really, really do appreciate it. So Doc's live is set for 221 at 5 for is BJ weird. 221, 222. Maybe I'll go live on both. Who knows? But I definitely agree with Victor from the Whiskey Panda. I do think this 13th century is definitely way better than that Corbin Cash. So pretty good. All right, it's not rigged, Thomas Anderson, but it was a mental note in my head, and I know I could change fingers on my hands, but I actually had the 8 fingers held up like this, so I had the 5 and the 3 below the table, so I could just raise them up. But obviously, I could change that last second, but 8 was the magical number, so. Thought Doc didn't want to step on someone else's live, and he probably doesn't. He probably will make sure that whatever he does go live, he'll probably go earlier or later than whoever else is playing. I try to do the same thing too. This is typically not a day that people go live. That's why I went live for the one last second time. I didn't really look, so hopefully I'm not stepping on anyone's toes too. But yeah, we try to be mindful of people's schedules and time. We understand that you guys only have so much time you guys can dedicate to watching someone. and it makes it tough. Think the whiskey club could pool our money together for that Pappy 15 barrel. Last official bid that was verified was for 800,000, not 3 million, but $800,000. I don't think so. I think even with the whiskey club, and I think with even the relocation server, I still think we'd be very, 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 very far off from $800,000, let alone 3 million. But 800,000 was a verified offer for that Pappy Van Winkle 15-year store pick barrel. So Thomas Anderson, will you be at Evernorth Saturday? And Joe B and Thomas Anderson might be meeting up too. Those are some good guys right there, by the way, guys. Thomas Anderson was actually going to be one of the other people I was going to reach out to about doing part of that barrel pick, but we have a full team. Plus, we're actually technically over the team. Otherwise, we're going to try to squeeze a couple more people. We had Mike Brock and Thomas Anderson I was looking at squeezing in there, but we just didn't have the space for them, unfortunately. They only allow 6 people in for their picks. We were able to negotiate 7 to go one over, but any more than that, probably be pushing pretty hard. Don't really want to do that when Evernorth already offers a pick. But Evernorth pick, March 12th, 11 a.m. Goal is if we pick the best barrel, they like what they try on March 12th, we can buy the entire barrel through the gift shop, and we can help bottle same day and have bottles in possession same day. I'll probably hold along with 2 of my other investors. We'll probably release those bottles 1st of April. Very 1st of April, we'll have everything prepackaged for the most part. We'll just slap a shipping label on it to hand deliver it. That's how we're going to handle our pick. And just keep an eye out. If you're in my Discord, we will more than likely add a new Discord thread, new Discord chat channel for barrel picks. We'll talk about it there. We'll announce it there, and it'll go on sale. And that is expected to sell out very quickly. Full transparency, talking to Dan from the Bourbon Junkies, looking about $55 cost through the gift shop. $65 is MSRP. Hand delivery fees, we're talking exact part ship plus $2 to $3 for materials. $65, maybe $70 tops to your doorstep after taxes, fees, and everything. So we'll see. Obviously, things can change. Depends on what we pick. Depends on what they offer us. Depends on the price they offer us. But right now, 55 cost, 65 MSRP. Hand delivery fees, we're talking 75, 80 bucks, maybe max, somewhere around there. Like I can't give an exact number until we have bottles in hand, but keep in mind, Evernorth does have secondary value. Evernorth has so much secondary value that there's people selling single barrels, store picks that are not in Michigan area because Michigan's apparently is oversaturated with these for 100, 150, anywhere between 100 and 150 for value. So obviously their LE was selling for like 200 plus, but single barrels 100 to 125, like it's pretty normal for a secondary price. So with these bottles having secondary value, the goal is definitely to keep the price as low as possible. So sub $100 for sure. Really sub $90. Like if we're going over $90, don't buy from me. Like literally call me a freaking rat and say there ain't no way I'm paying 90. Shove it, get lost, kid. Because 90 is too much. Like we will be sub 90 regardless of whatever happens, even if I have to take a loss. I don't know what we're going to end up getting. Bourbons, ryes, American whiskey, finished whiskey. They have wine finished flavored whiskeys too. So we'll see what we get. But we have lots of options that are going to be offered to us. I trust the team will pick the best barrel that they try. From there, we'll talk, have a phone call. I got one guy that's offering $5K. I'm willing to put up some money myself, close to 3,000 to 5,000 as well. Got another investor that's willing to put up 3,000 to 5K for some his end as well. So between all 3 of us, we're talking about 15,000 on the max. So with working with the Bourbon Junkies, with working with the pick, with working on the size of the barrel, if it's not a wine finished, we should be able to take the entire barrel in its entirety at the cost, and no harm, no foul. We get them all. If it's a wine finish, they're talking, those are much bigger barrels. They are willing to do half a barrel on those because of how big they are. They're 60-gallon barrels. That's where we're going to be sitting at right now. So Thomas Anderson, he's in Michigan. He said 2 Evernorth store picks in December for $59 in Michigan. Great price. 55 is cost. So 59 in Michigan is crazy great pricing. So 65 is actually MSRP. Like I said, with having national distribution of hand delivery fees. I don't want to do flat rate. I want to do exact. So if you're in California or you're in New York or Washington, it's going to cost you 15, 20. But if you're local, Michigan, Texas, something like that, we're talking, 7 to 10. 7 to 10 is a good guideline for hand delivery fees. Materials, $2 to $3 additional. That's for boxes, bubble wrap, wine sleeves, all that. It'll be fun. I promise you guys, very, very different than Whacked Out Club is in its entirety. We're trying to make sure this happens the best we can. A lot of BS, a lot of talk right now from me. Money talks, BS walks. I want to make sure that this is the best expression you guys have had for doing a barrel pick from a group. I don't want to make money. I really don't. I don't care about money. Any money made, reimbursement for materials, or reimbursement to help my 2 biggest investors. One of them's driving 19 hours one way to meal these bottles, 19 hours back, plus hotel. Another guy's flying in $1,400 airfare there and back. So if anyone's going to make any money, and they're not really making money, but recouping money, those 2 guys will get money before I get money. I don't care about money. I didn't get into this. I didn't make a YouTube channel. I didn't want to make money from this in the first place. I'm not the next Bruzel. I don't need a distillery or anything like that. Let me get good whiskey in your guys' hands first. So that's where we stand there. So Ben Stein's Liquor in Michigan is getting a barrel of rye, American, and bourbon tomorrow. The rye and American are already pre-sold, and bourbon almost. I like that, but we're going to try to avoid doing pre-sales. We're going to try to hold on to the product, make sure we have it in our possession. This way, everything can be boxed up and prepackaged and ready to go. So 16 by 6 by 6 will be the package size. The weight will all be the same. And then from there, it'll just be the destination, which will force people to interact with me because we'll do exact pirate shipping for cost. That's the best way we can do our deliveries. So cheers, guys. It's RJ the Fed signing out. Drink good whiskey, enjoy friends, enjoy family, share good whiskey with friends and family as well. And be looking out for next month. We have the Evernorth pick happening on March 12th. At 11 a.m. Got the guys going out there. They're going to be picking a barrel if they can. If nothing fancies the taste buds, we're going to pass. We're not going to sell you guys bad whiskey. So I expect good things from this. We'll hold it probably all the way till April 1st before we go live with it. I want to make sure everything's already in hand, prepackaged, ready to go. As soon as we're ready to go, we'll put it to the market. If that's the end of February, so be it. If it's 1st of April, so be it. Cheers, guys. I love you guys so much. Sorry I haven't been present, and I'll see you guys for the next one. This is RJ the Fed signing out, and I'll see you guys for the next time.